Hey everybody, it is tea time with the diva. Grab your tea, grab your coffee, because we're going to get into it. This tea time is dedicated to Twitch, the boss. May he rest in peace. And what I'm going to call his wicked wife, Allison Holker. But before we get into that story, let me say this. Rest in peace to Irv Gotti, hip hop, mogul, was part owner of Murder Inc., the record company. He passed away at the young age, I'm gonna say, because I'm 54. At 54 years old, had a stroke, brain bleed, and they said that prior to that he had a lot of medical issues, so to speak. He was dealing with diabetes, and last year he had a stroke, which he recovered from. But unfortunately, this year he succumbed to another stroke. Everybody, health is wealth. Try your best and do your best to take care of your mind, your body, and your soul. So, listen, guys, we're going to get right into this Allison story. And let me say this. Husbands and wives, couples, they go through a lot. And to me, this is just my personal opinion. Y'all can let me know your thoughts. Once somebody dies, all bets are off. What's the point? What's the purpose? You walking around saying they did this, that, and the other. They're gone. What's going to change? They can't apologize to you. They can't give you an answer. They can't give you a response. And especially if you have children with said person, do you really want to put all this smut in the street about said person, and your child has to grow up hearing you say that smut or living in that smut because you're the one that put it out there? All of these things that Allison Hooker is saying about the boss, Twitch the boss, I think a lot of the general public didn't know. Even if his friends, his family, and everybody that was close to them kind of knew the inside story, to the outside world, he was very loved, and no one kind of knew about his personal struggles. And even if she wanted to put his personal struggles out there in hopes of helping someone else that might be in said situation, I think she could have did it in a more tactful and classier way. The way that she put this information in her memoir, in her book about her deceased husband, I think is deplorable, is sickening, and I think is wicked. So one article, and that talked about pieces of her book that she wrote. She talked about how towards the end, before he died or before he took his own life, how he wasn't even bathing. Messy. Okay. And then another article, which all information came from the book that she wrote, which I refuse to buy. I'm not buying it. Is she says that, he left her in financial ruins. It was $1 million tax bill that he left behind when he died that she had to pay. And she said, and he spent all the money. He was reckless with spending his money on substances and artwork. But yet she had claimed before that she didn't know that he had said problem until, she went to go look for his outfit to put on him at his for his burial, for his funeral. And then she found a cornucopia of substances, and some of them she had to look up what it was. She wants to play like the naive wife, but then on the flip side, she gives clues as to how she knew he was in a downward spiral. Listen, when you're with someone, they say for better or for worse. So you was there for the good part of using his name and all the celebrity that came with using his name. But then when you saw him in a downward spiral, I guess you was like, okay, team too much. This is enough. I can't take it. This girl is wicked, but let's get right into the story. And I'm going to share two articles with you. Let me just make sure I have the right ones up here. We'll do this one first. Just to give, I'm not going to go through both of them in its entirety. I'm just going to give you, the pieces from it that I want to talk about. So Allison Hooker claims Stephen Twitch boss was constantly high and barely showered before his death. She needed to expose this for what? Allison Hooker claims Stephen Twitch boss was constantly high and barely showered before he died by taking his own life in December 2022. What I didn't know until I surveyed our backyard security cameras was that Stephen's smoking had ratcheted up. She recorded in her new book, This Far, My Story of Love, Loss, and Embracing the Light, released on Tuesday. I don't know what light she embracing by exposing everything about her husband that many in the general public didn't know. He was smoking in the morning and at night. It's almost as if he used one strand of pot at the start of the day to become Twitch, then use another at night to come down from that persona. Hooker claimed her late husband was also sneaking out the smoke while on the set of the Ellen DeGeneres show. So the Ellen DeGeneres show was on for decades. So you want to claim at one point you didn't know he had a problem, but then you saying at another point he was sneaking out on the show to smoke. Girl, to the best of my knowledge, nobody knew. He was really good at hiding it, she continued. How did you know if he was so good at hiding it? And you, girl, this woman talks out of two sides of her mouth. She's wicked. If I'd been aware of the extent of his uses, I would have gone into protective mode right away. After the Ellen DeGeneres show was canceled in May 2022, Hooker claimed Boss underwent a major shift in his day-to-day life, and his hygiene suffered as well. I would find myself pleading with him to take a shower, she wrote. At the time, I thought it was he was too tired to properly care for himself. Now I know that neglecting self-care is another classic sign of depression. So she exposed that this man allegedly was always high, and then got to the point where he wouldn't even shower and clean himself. And she's writing this to help whom? Why? How? I'm not sure. So then let's go to this one. So Allison Holker says Stephen Twitch boss left her $1 million tax bill. It happens to a lot of people, sweetie, when you married to people. That's why you got to be careful who you marry. And that's why in this day and age, you know, a long time ago, I'm going to say where my grandmother, you know, was married to my grandfather. I'm going to say back in those days, a lot of wives were not privy or didn't really, you know, get into the business of the finances with their husband, because the husband kind of took care of everything. But those were the days, at least for my grandmother, where you was a stay-at-home mom, a stay-at-home caretaker, right? But these days, when both parties in the marriage work, the mom works, the dad works, and for you to not be in the financials of it all, then shame on you. Shame on you. So Allison Holker is still feeling the pinch of in the wake of Stephen Twitch Boss' death. In her memoir, This Far, My Story of Love, Loss, and Embracing Light, the widow of the Ellen DeGeneres show star detailed the financial mess she says her late husband left her with after he took his life in December 2022 at the age of 40. Oh my God, he was so young. It's a misconception that I inherited Stephen's wealth. The reality is quite different, Allens wrote in the memoir released on February 4th. He had given away substantial sums of money to family and friends and spent recklessly on substances and his weird art collections. The tax bill that he left me with for the year he died was $1 million. First of all, I don't know nobody that get taxed on substances in his weird art collection. So if he left behind $1 million tax bill, I can't see that the prior years before he died, you wasn't in some type of financial turmoil. You knew what you was in, girl. You was cool with it when y'all was on the red carpets and y'all was in the limelight and y'all was walking around as the boss family. And then all of a sudden, you know, now that he's gone, everything was horrific and he left you with $1 million tax bill. That was y'all tax bill. You were married. Was yours is yours, and was yours is his, and was his is yours, and was his is his. Girl, bye. You're intertangled. Tangled. You're it's a business. Marriage is almost like a business. So your business partner didn't do well. Oh well, pick up the slack, sweetie. The 36-year-old who said Stephen didn't have a will at the time of his death added that she and her husband had always maintained separate bank accounts during their 9-year marriage, and paying off his tax owings depleted his accounts. She said depleted his accounts. Then y'all kept separate accounts anyway, so it depleted his accounts. Oh well, so he paid his own tax bill in the afterlife. Girl, bye. I had been under the impression that the arrangement was working just fine, she continued. He managed his income and I managed mine, and we divvied up the bills easy peasy, or so I thought. And while Allison, who shares kids Wesley 16, Maddox 8, and Zaya 5 with Stephen, said that sorting out her family assets provided a distraction from her grief, so that from her grief, the So You Think You Can Dance alum admitted she's still in the trenches financially. So that's why you wrote this wicked book. This book is not going to get you out of the trenches. In my opinion, she would have been better off trying to get a reality show with her and the kids and say life after Stephen the Boss. Okay, Stephen Twitch Boss. If he had known how much of our hard-earned money would go to pay lawyer fees to clean up this mess he left with me with, would it have made any difference? She explained. I like to believe it would have. Stephen left me with double the work, double the noise, double the hardships, double the confusion, and half the household earnings. This chick is wicked. So your husband, obviously, when someone takes their own life, they are in a battle, a wicked battle with themselves. It's nasty. And what they end up doing is making a permanent decision off of a temporary problem. Listen, you can always make money. You can always recover. You can always downside. But I have yet to see somebody raise themselves from the dead. So this chick said he left me with double the work, double the noise, double the hardships, double the confusion, and half the household earnings. Girl, your husband was suffering. Where were you? How are you not in sync with your man that you knew that he was going through something so tumultuous that you should have been screaming out to get him help? Listen, when I had a partner, I without them telling me, I'm like, okay, what? Something ain't right. Something's wrong. I'm gonna take you to the hospital. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. I knew without them even saying it. You know, when your partner had a bad day at work before they even tell you that they getting sick. You like, take this medicine. Child. She didn't love him, in my opinion. Allison previously defended her decision to write the book after coming under fire from members of Stephen's inner circle, including his brother Dre Rose and his mother Connie Boss Alexander. Listen, she want to claim about why she wrote this book. She wrote this book because she thought she was going to make ubu dollars from it, and I think it backfired on her. But like I said, this woman was a wicked wife, in my opinion, because writing this book was just wicked. He left you with double trouble. Girl, the man was suffering mentally. And you living with him. Didn't even see it with your own eyes. Did you really love this man, or did you love what name he had and the notoriety it brought you as being a part of his life and being his wife? Listen, people, chat with me in the comments, and when I get an opportunity, I will chat back. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe. Hit the notification bell so that every time I upload a video, you will be notified. If you are a subscriber, welcome back. Everybody, thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts on this story. See you in the next video.